So we took on one of our biggest challenges yet. Restoring a transit camper my friend pulled out of relative's garden in an attempt to save it. After 3 years in his possession and 5 years off the road in total, it's going to be a huge ask. Last episode we showed a brief walk around of its current condition and how we had no fixings or fittings for the van. It's also probably a good time to reveal I have no experience on working on these vans. But first things first, we need to get the engine running before we can spend any money fixing it up cosmetically.
Was this last year's Christmas present? That's why I'm saying take the bonnet off.
You distracted me. What was last year's Christmas present?
That's what we can.
Was that bigger one?
That's never working. Get the bonnet off. Right. Where's the tools?
Oh fucking hell, man. You in the toilet? Right, we're off to a bad start. I'm struggling with the bonnet and Finley's struggling with wind. But it wasn't long before we had all the parts from inside the van laid out and most of the coolant lines figured out thanks to Finley's mate James and some diagrams sent over to me from Davey at my old work. Just to fill in, there's a bit of confusion with some of the coolant hoses and what's been temporarily placed places and what's supposed to be where. I've contacted a parts company who helps me with parts sometimes and they've sent us over a diagram, so we're going to try and follow it, which has already helped us suss out that there's two hoses go up here, so I've pinged the picture to Finley and then we're just going to fire in. Some of the loom needed routing round the far side of the engine and it wasn't really cooperating, which started to get me really frustrated. Stupid man, whose idea was this?
The following day.
It doesn't look as if I've made much progress. We actually had to take the radiator and stuff off and we had to reroute the loom to make sure that it was locating into the power for the glow plugs and that everything was getting a little bit more comfortable. Since then, we did hook up a battery, but the battery earth was pretty bad on it. It was a kind of makeshift one, so we ordered a genuine one, and then we were having some trouble. When we turned on the dash, we weren't getting any battery light, but we were getting some dash lights. So we took the starter out to do a bit of diagnosis there to make sure it was still working. And what we found out is that if we earthed it straight off the body, the starter was turning. So we kind of eliminated that it was going to be an earth problem. So we rerouted the earth that we had going from the starter onto the box and we've moved it over there onto the chassis. Since then we've now getting a battery light and then it's now wanting to crank. So this video is basically, can we get this to go? What we've done is we've cracked off the injectors just to make sure we're getting some fuel there, and you can see that we're getting out some fuel. Doesn't smell the best, but we're going to try, see if there's air in them. We're going to crack them off. Darren's here to help, so I'm going to crank while he's cracking off the injectors and we're going to try and see if we can get it to fire up. Are you ready, brother?
Right,
Ready?
we'll start at one again, you ready? When you go, mate.
Oh, it's wanting to go.
Go for it.
You ready?
Aye, go. Keep going, mate. Again?
It's right there, innit?
Aye.
Slowing down a wee bit again, but Mark's got, so I think keep us going.
Right, last one. On you go, mate.
She's starting to smell a bit out the back. Ready?
I go.
One down again, aren't we?
Right, so it's seems to make a difference when you crack the lock there. On you go.
Just when it looked like the van wasn't going to start, it kicked into action with a kiss of life for Darren while I cranked the engine. Yes, man! Boom! Now we've heard the engine running, we could replace the rusty old suspension parts with some nice new parts. We had to work late into the night and managed to replace the front brake lines, flexi hoses and both front calipers. That's all we've got time for in this episode of The Transit, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a nice Christmas.
What did you get? 1 litre of grease.
We out here taking names.